Hey, Dr. Nuesse here again, and today we are talking about Gatorade Zero. That's coming up on Is It Healthy? Alright, so today we are talking about Gatorade Zero, which is a newer version of Gatorade. It seems like every few years now over the last, I don't know, maybe decade, Gatorade has been taking more and more calories out of their drinks and making up new versions basically. So we went from Gatorade fully loaded, and then several years back they came out with G2, which has a lot fewer calories than Gatorade, and now we're on to Gatorade Zero. And this is the lowest calorie version that they've come out with to date. So a lot of people think that this is healthy. This is something you should use when dieting, when on a keto program, a low carb program. So I want to get into the nitty gritty and explain why or why not you should be using Gatorade Zero when trying to lose weight, especially on a body fat loss program. All right, so as you know, what we're going to do to make this determination is we're going to look at that nutritional label, and here it is. So if you look at the nutritional label, you will see, first off, we have 5 total calories in this whole bottle. The serving size is the entire bottle. We are not worried all that much about a few calories in a drink. You know, it's very difficult to get something that has 0 calories across the board, especially a drink like this, so we're not concerned too much about the calories. As you know from possibly watching some of my other videos, we're going to look at sugar content, but before that, let's look at fat content because that's important as well. If you look at the total fat, we've got 0 there as well. We go down, we've got 1 carbohydrate and 0 total sugars. So when I typically approve something, I'm looking at the sugar content. This has 0 total sugars. So obviously this is a slam dunk. This is something that you should be using on a keto program or a low carb program or whatever fat loss program that you're doing. But in this case, we have to take it a step further. We have to actually look at the ingredients. Let's look at the ingredient list now. And this is a lesson that maybe I'm going to get into in the future about how to actually read a nutritional label correctly. Let's look at this nutritional label because sometimes you need not only the nutrition facts, but the nutrition ingredients as well. Here they are. So if you look at the ingredients, water, citric acid, a whole bunch of other stuff, and then we've got sucralose and some artificial sweeteners. So those artificial sweeteners is something that we want to pay attention to. All right, so do we, in my office and on my programs, do we exclude artificial sweeteners across the board? The answer is no, we don't. When we're talking about a drink though, a diet soda, something like this, a diet basically sports drink, this would be something that would be not approved on any fat loss program as far as I'm concerned. Here's the rationale. There's been so many research studies, so all of the research that has been done about artificial sweeteners and weight gain has linked them to drinking artificial sweeteners. So I have done a video on this in the past, specifically on diet soda, but it applies to obviously diet sports drinks as well. I'll link that video right up here if you want to kind of get a more in-depth rationale. But basically there's been research that has stated that if you drink artificial sweeteners, you actually gain more weight than if you drink a beverage that has sugar in it. And just again to kind of refresh, the rationale that the researchers have come up with is potentially twofold. So one is that sweet flavor that you get triggers a chemical reaction in your brain and you actually crave more sweets, so it makes it more difficult to stick to a lower carbohydrate plan. And then potentially also they are kicking around the idea that it actually causes a physiological change, i.e. an insulin response, which raises your insulin in your bloodstream even though there is no sugar in the actual drink. There's an artificial sugar, and that may trigger you to make insulin, which again locks away body fat, makes it very difficult to access body fat for fuel. So in this particular case, we are going to say no, this is not a good option. Drinking artificial sweeteners is not a good option when on keto, low carb, any one of the fat loss programs that I take my patients through. We will be excluding drinking artificial sweeteners. That's unfortunate, I know. So the other thing that I do typically when I do an Is It Healthy series is I talk about, is it actually good? This doesn't apply here in this case because we're not going to be using it anyway, but what I can tell you is that this is where Gatorade Zero gets it right, or the people that make Gatorade Zero has gotten it right, is that I can't really tell the difference between Gatorade Zero and regular Gatorade. So kudos to them for at least making it very similar in taste. All right, I hope that was informative and clears up some misconceptions about artificial sweeteners and can you use those on fat loss programs. I hope you enjoy this type of content, and if you do, please consider subscribing, and you can do so by hitting this button right here, and then right here is another video you can check out right now. And until next time, stay happy, stay healthy. I'll catch everyone in the next video.